Fasting has been growing in popularity in the science and medical field recently because they are finally discovering the many health benefits associated with it. Some of you may be asking, what is fasting? The dictionary defines fasting as abstaining from food, so simply put, fasting is when you don't eat. A typical fast is referred to as a water fast, where you only consume water for a set period of time. One of the most popular forms of fasting today is intermittent fasting. This is a shorter version of fasting where people typically don't eat for a 16-hour window, then resume eating during the remaining 8 hours of the day. This window includes sleep and is fairly easy to do. And one of the biggest reasons why fasting is good for health is because it gives the digestive system some time to rest. After a typical meal, the human body uses about 60% of its energy towards digestion. This is one of the reasons why people often feel lethargic after eating a big meal. Breaking down food requires a lot of work for the body, especially with some of the artificial foods that people are eating today. When the body isn't expending so many resources towards digestion, it can redirect them elsewhere. Many people experience a rise in energy levels when they fast, and this is why fasting can help drastically improve the overall health of an individual. The body is able to heal while we fast, and many studies have been able to show this. One of the first things that will heal is the digestive system. In modern diets, we rarely ever give our digestive system any time to heal, and it definitely needs some time to heal with all the artificial foods that we eat. The digestive system is able to use this time to detoxify, and many people advertise detox juice cleanses and other things like that, which are sold for extremely high prices. But the body is capable of doing this itself if you just give it some time to rest and some time to repair itself. Fasting has many more health benefits beyond just the digestive system. Fasting allows the entire body to heal. Dr. Joel Fuhrman wrote a book titled Fasting and Eating for Health. In this book, he discusses how he has used fasting to treat many patients for various diseases such as diabetes, autoimmune diseases, heart disease, hypoglycemia, obesity, and headaches. Other studies have also shown improvements with many other conditions. It's an extremely long list, so I'll just list them on your screen right now, and you can take some time to read through it if you would like. Mark Mattson is a professor at Johns Hopkins University and is the current chief of the Laboratory of Neurosciences at the National Institute on Aging. He gave a TED Talk where he talked about the many benefits that fasting can have on the brain and how it can also slow down the aging process. By doing this, it also can reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's. Here's a clip from his TED Talk.
We started looking at the effects of energy restriction on the brain in the context of age-related neurodegenerative disorders and found that we could slow down for example, abnormal accumulation of amyloid or the degeneration of dopamine neurons in the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's model by reducing energy intake. Now, there's a number of ways you can reduce energy intake. You can simply eat less at each meal, or you can do what we call intermittent fasting. So reduce the frequency of the meals. And what I'm going to tell you today is that fasting does good things for the brain. And in this country, as you know, being overweight is a big problem. It's not only a risk factor for cardiovascular disease and diabetes, certain cancers, but emerging evidence suggests that it's also a risk factor for age-related cognitive impairment and possibly Alzheimer's disease.
Fasting is also a very effective method for losing weight. On the most basic level, fasting will have your caloric intake at 0 for every single day that you fast. It will also allow your stomach to shrink in size because our stomachs have been expanded from constantly eating 3 to 4 meals a day. This will result in a smaller appetite after you finish your fast, and then you'll eat less food and your caloric intake will remain lower. This break from food will also change your taste buds, and you'll find that healthier foods taste much better than you're accustomed to. It's a great way to deal with junk food cravings, and during a fast, the body will have to resort to using stored fat as its primary energy source, which means that throughout the entire day you'll be constantly burning fat. When you resume eating, you'll see your weight go up very quickly, but most of this is going to be from water weight because you haven't been consuming much sodium, and sodium will have your body retaining water. And also glycogen, which comes from carbohydrates. It's when you break down sugar and use that as an energy source. Your body stores those usually in your muscles, and they can add a lot of weight very rapidly, but it's only temporary. So don't be alarmed if your weight goes up right after you finish your fast. Your fat loss will remain. And you can expect to lose roughly 1 to 1.5 pounds for every 2 days of fasting on average. This is because 3,500 calories burned equals 1 pound of fat burned, and most people burn on average roughly 2,000 calories. It could be more, it could be less, depending on size and gender. Gender plays a huge role, and also your height and your weight.